think it's always a matter of what game you're talking about and what's the level of competition. So, are we measuring ourselves against the best we've played? You always want to do better. You measure yourself against a lesser competition. We've shown flashes of that, and we've shown an inability to hit them sometimes when they're open, and then we've also shown some 50-50 balls that we've caught in the past. So, I mean, I know I'm not answering your question, Seth. I'm not trying to avoid it, but it's hit or miss, right? It's one game up and guys are open. I'll say this: Jermaine Burton has gotten better and better and better, and he continues to improve. Kieris in Todd's system is found a niche. He's found a nice ability to play the slot. He's courageous. He's not afraid to go over the middle, and we found ways to hit him. George has been dealing with an injury, but George has certainly made some big plays for us. Going back to the Auburn game. We've just got to get more guys producing out of that position consistently, and we've also got to hit them when they're open, hit the layups.
Kirby, we've seen in a couple other programs, guys are opting out on the season with games remaining. I know during the bowl season you were understanding of a couple of your players skipping the bowl. What do you think about the players' commitment to finishing the regular season versus the bowl?
I think it'll be measured when they get to the next level. So some pundit or some critic would say, well, that's easy for you to say. They need to worry about their NFL careers. Well, I've learned those NFL careers are not for long, and especially for guys that aren't first rounders. If you've got a bona fide first rounder, that's a completely different subject. That's not the case in the case of a lot of these opt-outs. And our kids are, they care about each other. They want to win. They want to have a productive season. And at the end of the day, they want to improve their draft stock. How does it really look upon you that you opt out to go train and not play? If you're a first-round pick, that's an easy decision. But when you're not, they take thought into that. The NFL general managers and scouts, all the people that we talk to, 100%, they're going to think about that. And that makes them think about, is this the best decision for him right now? Because I want to evaluate. I mean, what are they going to work out for? We don't know if there's going to be a combine. We don't know if there's going to be a pro day. What we know is we play Mississippi State at 7:30 on Saturday night, and that's an opportunity for you to go showcase what you can do against really good competition.
Okay, let's go to Mark Weiser and then Jed May.
Kirby, I guess Stokes had another defensive touchdown the last game. How much of that is, luck or circumstance? How much of that is emphasized in practice? What would you say this season?
Well, I'd love to say that we emphasize it at practice and that's why it happens, but that's, it typically, the defenses I've been around that score on defense are usually disruptive. It comes from a fumble, comes from a sack, comes from a, Monty strip sack fumble. I mean, the more disruptive you are and the more explosive players you have, the more opportunities you have to score on defense. So I think both of his circumstances came from really good coverages. Now, the one in the Florida game was a freshman that busted a route. I mean, it wasn't like an unbelievable. I mean, the guy threw the ball to somebody else. The receiver put Stokes in the way. Now Stokes had to catch it and finish it, and he did a really nice job of catching it and running with the ball after the catch. But we want to have those. We practice those, but sometimes they happen just by circumstance and luck.
Hey, Kirby, I think Malik said something yesterday about, for the rest of the season, you don't want to get embarrassed on national TV again. Since the Florida game, have you noticed more of an edge from the defense in practice? And sort of like you were saying earlier, is that something guys or scouts at the next level look at to see how guys respond after a game like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they look at performance. They're not looking at it in order of what happened the game before, how you respond. Probably looking at it more within a game. How you respond to giving up plays or getting beat. How do you respond within the game, but not so much 2 weeks later. And I haven't noticed a difference in the defense because I'll be honest with you, they worked really hard prior to that. There was not a complacency factor. It wasn't like they were out there thinking that they were they were going to go out there and shut people down. It was good work ethic, a good job working hard. Just didn't play real well.
All right, let's go to Zach Klein and then William Newland.
Kirby, accuracy was a big word you used last week before the game was postponed. Just wondering how that is improving, what you've seen the last, I guess, maybe 10 days or so, and how the layup's going.
Hit or miss. We hit some, we miss some, but we got to hit more than we miss is all I can tell you. I don't know I don't know any we hit last game other than, maybe a couple of drops. But we got to hit more than we miss. And we do that in practice. We don't hit them all, but we hit more than we miss in practice. But the competition's probably not the same either.
Hey, Coach. How important is the pass rush this weekend? Not only because the Mississippi State is such a pass-heavy team, but also in terms of limiting opportunities for them to take advantage of man-to-man coverage and the coverage busts that sometimes come along with that.
Yeah, you got to pitch to these guys. If you watch them right now, nobody hardly plays. Nobody hardly rushes the passer. They rush three. I think the last 4, 5, 6 teams they've played have rushed 80% of the snaps. So, that's what people are doing. That ain't necessarily what we're going to do. We believe in rushing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. By all means, I want Coach Leach to know we may bring 6, we may bring 7, we may bring 3, but that each team does it different ways. So when you talk about affecting the passer, I assure you he's fired up when you're rushing 5 or 6 guys because he's got answers for that. They got man beaters. They know what they're doing. This is not his first rodeo.
Okay, let's go to Blaine, and then we'll see if Bailey has a question.
Hey, Coach, I know this is obviously you always wear 2 hats as a head coach, in the SEC, especially recruiting and, what's going on in the season. How difficult is it this year, given the fact that everybody's eligibility kind of carries over? It's a free year. And has there been any indications over how they're going to adjust scholarship numbers next year?
No indications per what we've been told. Only thing we've been told is, you got to manage your 85, and I don't foresee it changing. So it's going to be a problem for some teams if you have a lot of kids elect to come back and, that school's counting on however many initials or how many new guys coming in, you're going to have a numbers crunch. But in the SEC, you don't have a lot of guys saying, I'm going to come back for their senior season. There's, guys we've had conversations with, and that option's available for guys. But they haven't told us anything about how they're going to help accommodate it like they did in some of the spring sports.
Hey, Kirby. I'm just wondering how you assess the offensive line's performance so far this year, and specifically Ben Cleveland.
The work ethic they have, I think they've worked extremely hard. I watch them in individual most days. They're really getting after it, high tempo, physicality. They've protected the quarterback well, and the quarterback has saved them sometimes. We've had a little more mobility at that position, and there's been times that maybe we messed up, or maybe the quarterback messed up, and the quarterback got himself out of trouble in terms of pressure with his legs. But they played really hard, and I've been pleased with their ability in the run game to get movement. So overall, I've been pleased with what the O-line's done, especially with the guys we've got playing new.
I think Ben Cleveland, asked about Ben Cleveland.
Yeah, Ben kind of the same statement there with that. Ben's been here forever. He knows what to do. He's a quality leader. He's played better in some games than others, but he's been a consistent force and leader for us with that group.
Okay, let's go to Connor Riley and then to Roddy.
Hey, Kirby, is there any sort of update on Stetson and whether or not he's been able to practice? And then with JT having played well against a Mike Leach coach team before, do you think that helps him or gives him a little bit of an extra edge this week?
I don't know, because he didn't play against it wasn't a Mike Leach coach defense, so I don't know where that would benefit, because the coordinator's not the same, So he's not playing against their offense, he's playing against their defense. And same thing with Stetson. He was out there able to go today and do some things, and he and DeJuan and JT and Carson all got work.
Kirby, what have you seen, speaking of JT Daniels, what have you seen different from him when he first arrived as to him now, getting reps this past week, working with the ones? What have you seen differently?
Well, he hasn't always worked with the ones, so I don't know where you would speculate that from, but his mobility has been better.
Okay, let's check. Dylan, do you have a question? And then Palmer. Either one?
Yeah, I've got one.
All right, go ahead, Palmer.
Any injury update on Jordan Davis, and has Kenny McIntosh come out of the black jersey this week?
Kenny's continued to work at practice, and Jordan continues to work at practice as well.
Okay, we got a couple minutes left. Let's just open it up to anyone. Go ahead.
Coach, I know in the off seasons, you guys, going all the way back, I'm assuming as your time as a assistant coordinator, head coach, you always look at what other teams do in the off seasons. How often have you found yourself, since all the way back with Leach being with Hal Mummy and people like that, studying kind of what he's done over his progression?
I've never studied those guys. I mean, we study who we have to play. So this year in the off season, we did a lot of studies on those guys. Once we knew we were playing them, it became a deal that we studied and looked into. But I've never, when we go in the off season, we study other defenses that do things and try to learn from them. And then our offense goes and visits other offenses to try to do things. But, what they do offensively is not it's not who we're trying to be.
Kirby, do you have any uniform changes for this weekend?
We're not sure yet. We've contemplated some of that, but we're not completely committed to it yet. We want to wait and see on a couple things with our leadership and some of our other senior groups.
Coach, I just want to ask about Warren Brinson real quick. I know we missed the last game. How is he cleared to play this weekend?
He is. He's not getting a ton of work because he just got back, but he worked today with the scout team and all, so he's cleared to play. But we got some other guys in front of him right now.
Right. Thank you.
Time for two more questions. Anyone?
I was going to ask Kirby, how is JT in terms of excuse me, in terms of some of the things that Stetson does well in getting the offense into the right plays, and audibles, I presume.
He's very bright. He understands things. He's very attentive in meetings. Asks a lot of really smart questions. Always into the X's and O's. He's very intrigued by the other team's defense. Every week they get tests, and each week of the season he takes the test and does it as good as anybody. Not knowing if he's getting snaps or not. He's done a tremendous job of understanding the team. I mean, he comes down there with us, and gets scout team reps, and he still knows what the other team's defense is doing. So he takes a lot of pride in that part of it.